If there's one thing that I could change about this industry and through content and whatever that you're going to see me pushing a lot this year is don't look and reach out to realtors before you know where you are financially.
For buyers for 2025, when you're looking at your real estate agent, find somebody who is a damn good negotiator. Somebody who will fight for every single dollar for you like it's their own. Not somebody who just goes with it because they get a paycheck. No, find somebody with a little dog in them that will go to bat for you, not just from an aggressive standpoint, but from a logical one. Hey, what's going on, guys? Chad Sabalka here with Burn the Ships. I'm super excited to have you. And as always, I got my brother riding with me, Mr. Garrett Townsend.
What's up?
How you doing today, brother?
What's up?
This is good. It's fun. We're going to talk about some stuff that you and I feel like it's one of the things we're best at.
We're talking real estate today, ladies and gentlemen. So we did not start this podcast we didn't want it to be what the podcast every other real estate agent and mortgage guys are doing, where all we talk about is our real estate knowledge, right?
Yeah.
If you're seeing that every single time, now we've talked about fatherhood and great books that we've read and goals and motivation. And that's the main thing for this podcast.
Yep.
But let's face it, this is what we know best in our professional lives. Today, guys, we want to talk about our 2025 silver bullets, if you will, the best things that a buyer should be doing, a seller should be doing, and professionals. Garrett and I are not the type where we figure something out and we hoard it for ourselves because we want to be the only ones out there doing it. And many professionals are like that. We want to share what we're doing to the world because we know that there's enough pie to go around to the doers, to the people out there actually grinding. So I hope you guys enjoy this video.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, you and I both know that it's all about people building wealth through real estate and reaching the masses, right? And so you know that you can't help everybody. I know I can't help everybody, but if we can give enough nuggets or whatnot to help other people help people, then we talked about it in the last podcast. It's that abundant mindset, right? So I think the more people that are buying homes and selling homes and seeing the rewards of investing in real estate, then it's just a better overall economy for all of us.
Right. So hopefully by the time you're up watching this, you're in a position that you want to buy a house, right?
Yeah.
So 2025, a lot of people, there's a lot of trepidation around real estate right now, a lot of nerves. But let's start from your perspective, from the lending side. What's the most important, 3 big things a buyer should be doing in 2025 to make sure that their real estate is successful?
Well, I think the first thing they should do is wait for the rates to drop. No, man. I mean, honestly, I think number one and the most important thing is to get with me or get with a lending professional. The sooner the better. I mean, so many people wait until they're ready to buy or they think they're ready to buy to get with a lender, and then they realize that they're not ready to buy. I mean, my goal is to get as many people talking to me as soon as they are, as soon as they even think that they want to buy, because, we can pull credit, we can look at credit, we can look at their income, we can look at their savings. There's all the different things that we can do to make sure that they are in the position to buy when they're ready, or they're ready to buy when they want to buy. I think too many people do it backwards. They wait until hey, we were talking to our friend, they just bought a house, let's go buy a house. But they should have talked to somebody 6 months ago to make sure that they were in a position to get ready to do
Or
that.
even worse, and I've run into this with lots of clients, is they call me with the house they want to buy and they haven't even talked to a lender yet.
Yeah, it happens.
So they not only have they put the cart way in front of the horse, they have no idea if they can afford the house, if they can qualify for it, what down payment's going to look like. So yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree that the sooner a buyer can know and understand their numbers and have a good lend professional behind them, the better.
Yeah. And what I don't understand is, I know we've talked about this in previous episodes of some sort. I think it's just backwards. I mean, if there's one thing that I could change in our industry, would be that we refer the approved buyers to the realtors. I mean, I truly believe it's just backwards. I mean, even if people are selling their house, right? You'll have people that'll call you to look at their house, to sell their house, to buy something new, and they don't even know if that's something new that they want to replace their house with, they can actually afford to replace their house with that something new.
Right.
You got the people that'll reach out to you, the realtor, to go show them houses, and they don't even know what they can afford. And it's just very backwards to me. I just wish that the public would understand, hey, I need to go find a good, reputable lender, get pre-approved, know what my budget is, know where I'm at, know what I could afford, and then maybe have him refer me to one of his rockstar realtors or whatever. It's just always been been very backwards to me. And,
Absolutely.
if there's one thing that I could change about this industry and through content and whatever that I'm really going to use, you're going to see me pushing a lot this year is don't look and reach out to realtors before you know where you are financially. Unless, you do know and you've got millions of dollars in the bank and you're just going to pay cash, then call the realtor first, right? I mean, that's what makes sense.
All of you that have that, please feel free to call me.
Yeah, call Chad. He'd love to have you. But the reality is that's a very, very small percentage, right? And I truly, like, if you're watching this, listen to this. Listen, call a lender, get your credit pulled, look at those things. There's so many different caveats to different incomes. A lot of people just say, hey, I made X last year, or I've had clients recently that just were moved from salary to commission, and they're going to make a lot more in commission, but they think that, well, I'm going to make this. Well, what you're going to make doesn't qualify you for what you want to buy and what you make. And there's so many pieces to that pie that.
Well, I experienced this firsthand with you, where Kylie and I are looking at buying a vacation rental property in Scottsdale, Arizona. And as a real estate professional, I was like, okay, probably 20% down. That's what I'm going to need to make this work. Looked at my numbers. Okay, we can make that fly. And before even calling GT, and then I called GT and he was like, well, you can put down 20%, but you're going to be paying 2.5 points high. And he was like, you need to be putting down 25%. And I was like,
that little extra 5%.
Well, I should have talked to you about this first. And the little extra 5% is, $25,000-$30,000. It's a big difference. Right. And we're still going to make it work. Yeah. That's one of my 2025 goals. But having the knowledge of what you're trying to buy as early as you can possibly do it. Yeah. I'm talking months in advance. You can go into it with both eyes open, and you're not going to get any curveballs. Yeah. You're going to know what's coming up.
It's going in the game with a game plan or going to the game without one. I mean, at the end of the day, I love getting to clients that aren't ready right now, but they're ready to, hey, we want to buy in July. Awesome. Let's get your app. Let's get you pre-approved. Let's see where you're at. Let's make sure the numbers work. Make sure your credit is where it should be to get the best rate. I mean, there's so many different little things that you can do to tweak that if you have 4, 5, 6 months to work with, man, you'd be in a much better position than not.
Okay, so calling a lender early.
Yep. Understanding that right now, for all you people that think that it is smart to wait for these rates to drop, it's not. I'm just telling you, it's not smart. So I just said it. You're not smart if you're waiting for rates to drop.
Why is that?
Because right now, there are so many deals out there that the difference in your payment in the rates now versus where the rates are going to be 6 or 8 months from now, where we think they're going to be, but we think based off, people that are way smarter than me that, study trends and whatnot, and we all know that these rates are going to be dropping. With that being said, because they haven't yet, there's a lot of real estate on the market. There's a lot of inventory, and literally sellers right now are paying you to buy their house. We can call it seller concessions or whatever, but if we want to dummy it down, they're literally paying you thousands and thousands of dollars to buy their house. So, for example, you find in Colorado, which is kind of normal. I don't know where you're at and where you're watching this. This may be like some luxury home, but in Colorado, it's kind of an average home of like $600,000. You could have somebody come in and want $600,000. You could literally offer them $585,000, which is $15,000 off, and ask them for $15,000 in seller concessions. And there's a very strong chance that you're going to get that. I can't guarantee it, but there's a strong chance that we can make that work, right?
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, they just paid you $30,000 to buy their house, and you're talking about a difference in a payment of maybe a few $100 now versus 6 months from now. To me, it's crazy not to take advantage of where this market is now. I mean, homes are sitting there, people are freaking out, and they're willing to pay you good money to buy their house.
Absolutely. And you can use that money to offset the cost of that rate.
Yes.
You can do, not to get too technical, but you can do temporary buy downs where the seller's concessions is literally paying your interest.
Yeah.
So you could get into a position that you aren't being affected by the rate at all.
Yeah.
By the time rates come down, you're refinancing, and all that happened was you ended up getting a cheaper home. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. So
yeah, I tell people all the time, the only people that are paying today's rates are the people that want to pay today's rates, because there's options out there not to. The most popular thing out there in the market right now for buyers is the temporary buy downs. Well, if call a par rate today is at 7%. I'm not quoting floating rates, I'm just using it as an example, is at 7%, you do a 2-1 buy down, you're really at 5% for the next year. Most likely you're going to blow out of that thing before it adjusts anyway.
And it only adjusts to 6% for year 2.
Yeah.
And so you have 2 full years of quote unquote shielding from today's rates.
Yeah.
So
it's the best strategy out there. It's literally every purchase I've done for the last 3.5 years, we've done temporary buy downs, and the sellers pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got anything else for buyers right now?
Just make sure you align yourself with a good professional lender and real estate partner. Don't go on the internet. I mean, those guys are just dialing for dollars. They're not good. They're not looking at every client as a client for life. You're just a number, another dial and another sale and another BS from a loan that they'll never see again. Find somebody like Chad and I that looks at our clients as a client for life, which means I'm going to do everything I can to make that experience a level 10 experience for you. So every single time we move up and we buy another property or we buy investment properties, you're going to call me up and say, hey, G, I'm ready to go again. Let's go. And there's a big difference. I mean, I don't think people understand in this business, there's a big difference in that mentality than the one that you're just a number. I mean, it can end up being very costly to pick the wrong lending partner and the wrong real estate partner.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen it a lot. So buying a house, typically for most people, it's a new chapter in their life, right? Their family's growing, or they're just getting married and they're doing it for the first time, or
they're empty nesters. They need to downsize.
Out of college and I'm a single
something.
dude and I want to own a house. I don't want to be a renter. But it should be fun and not hard. And it should be, I won't ever say easy because there's nothing easy about buying a house, but it should be fun. And man, there's just a lot of people out there in our industry that make it not fun.
Yeah, very true.
And so, that's the approach I try to make it. And, even the mundane stuff that isn't fun, we try to make it as fun as we can. And it's a big deal for most people. And I am probably the biggest fan on the planet of real estate investing. I just am. I mean, I see it. People refinancing, buying a house, refinance a year later, $100,000 of equity in their house. I mean, there's nowhere that I've ever seen the returns that people make in investing in real estate.
Absolutely not.
I mean, ever.
Plus, to me, the greatest thing about real estate investing is it's a tangible investment. It's not pixels on a screen. It's something you can use, whether it's a personal home or rental property. You can touch it and feel it. It's real estate. So that's definitely something I love about it. So for me, for buyers for 2025, number one, you touched on it a little bit, is hiring a professional, but specifically when you're looking at your real estate agent, find somebody who is a damn good negotiator. Somebody who will fight for every single dollar for you like it's their own. Not somebody who's a pushover, not somebody who's a slouch, not somebody who just goes with it because, I'm going to get a paycheck. No, find somebody with a little dog in them that will go to bat for you, not just from an aggressive standpoint, but from a logical one.
Right.
When they're presenting the offer to the sellers, having reasons and factual information about comps and neighborhood and, outlook and what the neighborhood's projected to be, and be able to articulate your offer to the seller and tell a very good story for it, I think is paramount for buyers right now, because there's, like you said earlier, there's sellers who are willing to pay you to buy their house, but they're willing to pay a lot if you find the right guy to do the job.
Pay what is negotiated by a good negotiator.
Yes.
And so let's talk about that. What makes a good negotiator? And I only say this because everybody knows a realtor, right? There's a bazillion of you guys, right? And it's usually a friend of a family that does it part-time. I mean, let's face it. How many, do you even know the number? Like, I feel like we talked about it recently. How many in 2024, what percentage of realtors did like one transaction or no transaction?
There's lots of different memes floating around all the real estate groups, but I believe it was 82% sold 1 or 0 homes.
82% of licensed realtors
sold 1 or 0. No, 1 or 0.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Newsflash. You cannot sell 1 home a year and be what I call a good realtor. Just like I know you cannot do 2 loans a month and be what I call a good lender.
Well, let's face it. If you have a brain tumor, are you going to be trusting the neurosurgeon that's done 1 or none in the last 12 months?
Yeah.
No, I want the guy who just finished up and is about to do another one, and he has to schedule me next week because he's too busy.
Yeah.
Like that. If he's in, and not that your home is as important as your brain, because I'm not too proud to to say what I do is as important as brain surgery. It's not. It's pretty damn important when you're talking about the biggest financial asset that most people have, where your children are going to take their first steps, where you're going to have Christmas dinner. It's an important thing, and you need to have somebody who does it all the time, does it every day, but is also going to negotiate their freaking pants off for you, like they were negotiating for
the realtors out there that are doing more volume. They're doing more volume for a reason. A is they're taking care of more people, therefore they're getting more referrals. That's the reason they do more volume. They're probably really good at what they do. They're getting more practice. I mean, the reality is you're going to have a better batting average if you get more at bats than the guy that sits the bench. And you know, y'all can use me. I will tell you right now, for everybody that does watch this video, you can use me if you're not, even if you're in another state, because if you're here, obviously you're looking at a top dog right here. But if you're in another state, I literally have programs that I can pull every realtor in this country that is licensed and tell you their numbers. So you get some realtor that acts like they're a big bad, you know, awesome realtor, and they do all this business. I can pull their numbers and tell you what they do. And most of the time, it's a lot less than what they say. And I'm just telling you, when it comes to 98% of the people on this planet that buy a house, it will be your biggest purchase and one of your biggest investments that you ever make.
Yeah.
You just want to put that in the hands of really good people. You don't want to do a favor for your cousin or whoever that's some part-time realtor and they're doing you a favor, because trust me, they're not doing you a favor.
Yeah. So yeah, number one, not only do you need to hire a professional real estate agent, but they need to be negotiation should be at the top of the list of people that you're interviewing. Number two, I want buyers to go into 2025 with a long-term mindset. When they're buying their house, don't think about what it's going to be in a month, a year, or 2 years. This real estate market has gone through a down cycle. Nobody wants to admit it, but it has. And it has found very strong support at where the home prices are today. There is no further expectation of any pullback in pricing. But we could be in a belly where we stay here for a little bit. But you getting into that property now, you're going to be able to get into it, like you said, with sellers paying for stuff for you. So you're going to be a little bit under everybody else. You have a good negotiator, it's going to be even better. And just keep a long-term growth mindset when it comes to your property. I do think we could see a couple of years down the road a real estate market like we saw post-COVID. I don't know if we're not going to get to that. And when I say that, I'm not, again, talking about rates. I'm just talking about craziness and home prices rocketing. But the fact of the matter is there is an insane amount of pent-up demand right now.
Yeah, there is.
That's number one. And number two is, especially here in Colorado, we have not been building homes to replace the population increase.
Right.
And supply is becoming more and more limited. And when this pent-up demand releases, it's going to be like the Hoover Dam got hit with a nuke, and it's just going to flood the market. So anybody who's buying today, if you don't see, a 10% gain on your property through 2026, don't panic, because I promise you 2026, 27, 28, there's going to be a time that floodgate's going to open, and you're going to be damn happy that, number one, you're in the house, and number two, you're gaining equity while everybody else is fighting over these scraps, because you're the one who's benefiting.
Yep.
So take a long-term mindset when it comes to purchasing real estate today.
Yeah. And I'm already prepared to have the conversations, because I know that in the next couple of years, when these rates do hit in the fives again, and that 5 million buyers that they say are sitting on the fence right now jump off the fence all at the same time, I'm already prepared to have the multiple conversations with people that are, man, we messed up. We should have done it sooner.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got to be more than 5 million, because I probably personally have $20 to $25 million worth of sellers who aren't wanting to sell yet because of their purchase situation. I think it's going to be absolutely bananas when it happens, and it will. Time frame is anybody's guess, but just have a long-term mindset about it. Getting in today is so much better than waiting. Yeah. So much better. So that's number two. My number three biggest piece of advice is make sure that this is advice forever. It's not just for the 2025 market or beyond, but everybody else who surrounds the real estate transaction, make sure that they are also professionals, in that you're having the HVAC checked out, you're having the inspector come through who is a damn good
sewer scope if it's an old house. There's so many things.
I'm a father. I have an amazing father-in-law who could probably build a home from scratch using duct tape and freaking plywood. The guy is amazing. He's MacGyver. But when it comes to this, again, circles back to the brain surgeon stuff. I want to have a home inspector who has gone through thousands and thousands of homes and has has thousands of more on the docket he has to get done because he's that freaking good. But it's such an overlooked piece. I feel like every real estate agent talks about it, but I don't think it really sinks into buyers' ears enough that having a rock star inspector is almost as important as the two of us.
Yeah.
You want him doing a full-blown colonoscopy of that house and leaving no stone unturned, because the consequences can be very dire and can completely submarine what you and I do for our clients. So that trickles down to title as well, and everybody else surrounding the transaction.
And again, it goes back to the right team and the right person, because again, you get a rookie agent or somebody that doesn't do much business, and you get your bulldog inspector out there and he inspects the house, and we know that a lot of the stuff that inspectors call out aren't really that big of a deal. But then you get somebody that doesn't know that doesn't know the difference between the minor stuff and the things that are really important, and they can torpedo the whole deal. And the agent doesn't even know it, and an agent that has experience could be like, yeah, it's not a big deal, that's not a big deal, this we need to address. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many reasons why in this industry I've just seen that you've got to have a very experienced good team. I've seen it so many times where you get the new agent or whatever.
Think about if you hit the trifecta and you have a rookie lender and a stay-at-home mom. All due respect to you stay-at-home moms out there who are doing this, I hope you're doing it professionally, but somebody who maybe falls in that 0 or 1 category, and an inspector who just got licensed, and what a nightmare that can end up for somebody. That can ruin somebody's financial future for the next 10, 20 years because they picked the wrong people around them.
I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah,
I mean,
for buyers.
And
so we've gotten about 25 minutes into it. Let's talk sellers real quick.
Okay.
Is there anything from the lending point of view in 2025 that sellers need to pay attention to? And specifically, we're talking to sellers who are also buying, because obviously if you're a seller and you're moving into a nursing home or what have you, there's, all due respect, there's not really much use for mortgages there. But talk to the people who are maybe making a lateral move, moving up, moving down. Why should they be talking to a lender?
Well, they should talk to a lender first just to make sure, because I mean, I literally have had people go, well, because of where my rate is on my house now, if I sold my house, I'm downsizing and paying more for the smaller house than I am for the bigger house. So there's a lot of people that struggle with that. I mean, I think just understanding where you're at, where the market is, where the financing is, those things is very important for people that are looking to move. As far as like, from the lending side, that's the only thing that I can really think of for sellers. I mean, know that your agent is, like, we have this CRA program, right? This Community Reinvestment Act program. And I literally I call probably 10 to 15 every single day that are active listings. And most agents are, again, like, wow, that's great. Yeah, I would like to advertise that on MLS and let other agents know that there's a 1.75% lender incentive on this property. And I think sellers need to, I don't even know how they would know, but literally when I'm calling these agents, it never fails. The agents that I get that say, yeah, I'm not really interested, I'll look at their numbers and they do like 1 or 2 a year. And these agents are doing a disservice to their sellers by not allowing other agents to see that there's an incentive on this property to bring more buyers to the property, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if I don't even know how you would position that as something that sellers need to know. But I guess if you have the right agent, they're going to go, heck yeah, this is a value add. This is another arrow in the quiver. Whereas it never fails. The agents that I talk to, they're like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. They're the ones that do no business. And I almost want to call their client because I know I can find their information and say, hey, by the way, I just told your agent that there was an incentive that my bank will give any buyer that comes and buys your property of 1.75%, but he wasn't interested in it. Just wanted to let you know.
That's going to sound that relationship.
Want to do that. I swear, I think I'm going to start doing that, especially when I get the root agent. I'm just going to call the client specific or directly and just let them know that, hey, my bank's offering money to a buyer that comes in and wants to buy your property, but never mind, your agent wasn't interested in it.
Yeah. For me, sellers in 2025, and this is where it's a little bit more unique, I think, than the buyers, because the buyers is kind of the same as it's always been. But for a seller, there's the number one major thing that you need to do as a seller is make sure that you're hiring a real estate agent who is extraordinarily good at marketing and video. And I don't just mean throwing some pictures together and making a slideshow they put on their Facebook so all their friends can see they're selling houses. I'm talking about hiring somebody with a professional drone photographer who's going to fly through the home, not just do exterior video, but into the home. Real estate agents who have ways of getting that video out to the masses and getting as many eyes on it as possible. It used to be, in the early 2000s when I first started this, agents were taking pictures on their cell phones, and then they upped it to having professional photographers take it. Then they added aerial drone photography, but it's shocking to me how few agents have fully embraced using full drone fly through video that gives a buyer an actual feel like they're walking through a property. It is 100% non-negotiable that 100% of both mine and my partner's properties, Dane, he does and I do video on every single one of them. We not only that, we pay to have those videos prioritized on all of the aggregate sites, on Zillow, on homes.com, all that, because I truly believe, 99.999%, it's probably 100, but they can't say it. People start on the internet and people click through like one or two pictures, but then they click off of it. Video is where it's at. And so many real estate agents, I don't know if it's the expense. They don't want to pay the $700 or $800 because they already feel like they're getting money taken from so many other places, or lack of knowledge. But to me, if you're not doing that on your real estate listings, you're not a professional agent, because it is such a massive thing in the world today. It gets it pushed higher up on Google searches, on absolutely everything. Video is king, and it's really crazy to me that we're in 2025 and real estate agents are still, a lot of them are refusing to wrap their arms around it.
Yeah. And I believe that's super important. I think it's really important to pick somebody that's not scared to do video, that's not scared to do social media. Let's face it, there's a lot of clients direct that are surfing social media, and there's a lot of agents that are surfing social media that, that'll see, hey, I got this open house coming up, and, hey, let's grab this client because that looks like that would be a great fit. I mean, so I'm a big believer that the social aspect is big. You want to try to have at least, I think, an agent that has a good social following and does a lot on social media that's going to do open houses, talk about it, do video about it, get people pumped up about it, things like that. I mean, I think those are things that will get people to your home, to give your home exposure.
Yep. I also think that every single listing that goes on the market needs to have either an interior decorator, interior designer, or a stager, not necessarily come and bring stuff into the house, but tell the seller exactly what they need to do. Somebody who specializes in that. There's multiple people here in Denver that do. And I have them on all of my listings where somebody will come in, say, we need to get rid of this, we need to move. Real estate agents like to act like we know absolutely everything about absolutely everything, and we don't. And I defer to the professionals as often as I possibly can. If somebody asks me a question about a loan, I won't even ballpark it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, here's my boy G's number. You're going to call him and he's going to give you a real world number.
Right.
Same thing goes for the home. I can walk through the home. I can give what my suggestions would be, but that's not my job. That is a piece of what I can offer. But I would rather, again, going back to the brain surgeon thing, I want somebody who eats, sleeps, breathes furniture, colors, coordination, lighting, all of that stuff, so that we can make your home as beautiful as it can possibly be to kick the crud out of your competition.
Yeah, for sure. Because we all know right now, I think with the amount of inventory that's out there, and the homes that are sitting are the homes that don't show very well.
Exactly.
The homes that show well are moving.
They're still moving like crazy. Yeah, if you and especially that first weekend is still paramount, that your home is impeccable. If your home is not ready, give it another week. Get it perfect.
I think that's great advice, because a lot of people just want to rush it.
Don't do it. Yeah. You will be leaving thousands of dollars on the table that you didn't even know about.
Yep.
Take the time to make sure it's perfect. And if you have an agent who's kind of kicking you in the ass about getting it on the market, you can smell out where his true focus is, and it's on the
paycheck.
He needs a paycheck.
Yeah.
And a bright, intelligent agent is going to tell you, no, you need to. We're going to kick this can down the road a week or two or a month, whatever it needs to be, to make sure it's right. Because if I get you $10,000 less, it's going to affect my check $300 maybe.
Yeah.
it's going to affect your paycheck as the seller, 10,000.
Yeah.
So
it's a big deal.
Yeah. Let's get you right. All right, buddy. So let's talk to the other pros out there. Let's talk to the other lenders, the other agents. And what are you doing differently in 2025 to grow your business?
A couple things. One is the big thing, the coaching company that I'm part of now, Growth Only Coaching, we're real big on brand, right? And there's the easiest and best way to build your personal brand is social media. And so lots of content, good content, lots of video, stuff that people want to watch that's good and informative, good content, right? I think that's the best way to build a brand. And so if you're a lender out there or an agent, let's face it, most people today, I get people all the time that don't even know what bank I work at. They don't even care what mortgage company I work at. They just know that if they call Garrett Townsend, he's going to take good care of them. Or the agent that says, hey, call my guy Garrett, he's going to take good care of you. They don't care where you work or whatnot. So I think it's very important that you build your own brand, let people know who you are professionally, personally, align. I think it's really important to make sure that your clients and your client base is aligned with who you are. That's a big deal, especially at my age and have done as many loans as I've done. It's just important to me that I'm aligning with clients that see things the way I see them. Yeah, so that, I think, being highly active, again, I probably cold call, 10 or 15 new agents every single day.
What, you're telling me that a lender who's been doing this 20 plus years is resilient enough to keep doing cold calls?
Oh, yeah.
Is driven enough, is ambitious enough to still pick up the phone and dial?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's easier for me because we have a program that most banks don't have or most people don't have. So it makes it easy for me to call or cold call 10 or 15 new agents every single day when you're offering them free money, right? Mm-hmm. So that makes it a little bit easier. I'm not cold calling agents saying, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? But yes, I do love talking to agents and meeting them and putting them in a database and staying in touch with them. I think it's imperative that you work off a list. I mean, I've got my list of 50, which are my top 50 realtors that I haven't done as good of a job in the last couple of years of staying in contact with them like I used to, which was like every single week. I'd call my top 50 every single Monday. Now it's like in every other week, I'll call like 25 a week, stay in touch with them, and that list is constantly changing, because some people are not doing as much or some people are buying into you and what you're doing more. I just think you got to be really active out there right now, man. I think you got to be very intentional. I think you got to be very process driven. You got to track your leads. You got to stay on top of your leads because a lot of people, you'll get leads and you'll pre-approve them and they're 6 months out and then people forget about them, right?
Yep.
And so that's really important. But, for me, it's just sticking to the basics. Again, we talked about it in a previous podcast about time management and whatnot. I think it's having your theme days and your non-negotiables in your calendar that you do every single day when it comes to your business, making sure you're doing those and then trying to fill in all the white space with more one-on-one time and just meeting and getting in front of as many people as you can. I mean, right now, there's, I think in 400,000 licensed lenders and now there's like 95.
90, yeah.
Yeah, 90, 95.
That's absolutely crazy.
So there's less of us out there. And to me, it's like, it's just market share at this point. And so, yeah, somebody has been doing it for 25 years. It's not doing the numbers that I'm used to doing and want to do. What do I need to do? I need to call more people. I need to talk to more people. I need to build relationship with more people. And the greatest thing about it is there's a quarter of us left in the business. So a lot of agents out there and a lot of clients out there need a new lender because theirs got out of the business or retired or whatever.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, for 2025, for all the real estate agents out there, I love what you said about building a personal brand. I think that that's kind of been the name of the game since COVID. Big guys like, Ryan Serhant and stuff like that really pound the table for building a personal brand.
Got millions of followers and that helps him with his
he is absolutely killing it. He's one of my real estate idols. I think the guy's a rock star. Yeah. But building a personal brand is huge. Socials is absolutely huge. But as far as finding new leads as a real estate agent, this year I am really focused on two big things, and that is doing events. I think events for clients is massive. Yep. I think people have been, I don't think the world clicked back on as quickly and as fast after COVID, and there's still kind of a hunger for camaraderie and community. So doing events in your neighborhood, doing events for your sphere, but like really cool ones. Don't just throw something together, right? You have to make sure it's memorable, that it's something that's going to get people off the couch, because let's face it, we have 983 different streaming companies now filling your mind with all sorts of stuff. Instead of eating a bowl of tortilla chips on the couch, it's going to take a lot for people to get up and get off the couch and go out. So doing incredible events for your community, connect with your HOA. If you don't have an HOA like I don't, all the better. You can do what you want when you want to. Do amazing events for your clients. And the other thing is really connecting with small businesses in your area. Mm-hmm. If you're a real estate agent like me who's really good at social media, really good at video and that sort of thing, connect with small businesses, give them a call and say, hey, I love being a patron of your fill in the blank, your restaurant. I love coming in there, and I want to help spread the word for you about it. And I'm doing this marketing campaign, come up with a catchy name for it, sit down with them, take 20, 30 minutes to interview them, get some cool B-roll shots of their bar, their neighborhood restaurant, whatever that thing is, edit all that stuff up for them, and post a whole bunch of reels where you're tagging them as the collaborator. And you can go above and beyond that and do what I'm doing, where you're actually buying gift cards to that place to give away, to double down on that relationship. That is I think that's going to be absolutely monumental for my business. I've currently worked with a couple. I have a couple of more already on the books to sit down and interview them. And I am doing that above and beyond. I am buying gift cards or so not medical supplies. Another one I'm working with does essential oils and face creams and that sort of stuff, but it's really, really cool. We were able to get really cool views of it, but just connecting with somebody and saying, hey, I don't want anything from you. I'm not here to get you to convince you to buy something from me. Just give me 10, 20 minutes of your time. And I am going, just to give you an example, the first group that I worked with, I got them over 100,000 views on Instagram. Yeah, through real views. And I've given away $500 worth of gift cards thus far. Mm-hmm. And so not only are you getting the goodwill with the business owner, mm-hmm. but you're also running these giveaways on the reels to your sphere, your clients, and theirs, because you tag them as collaborators. Yeah. It goes out to their people too. Win-win. So it's a win-win all the way around. Yep. And you don't necessarily have to come with dollars. Just come with your time. Yeah. And that's a massive push in my business this year, and I'm excited about it.
Well, social media is free. Like you said, you don't have to invest a lot in that. But when you go when you talk about events and things like that, like the best realtors I know on the planet, I'm talking guys doing like crazy volume. That's what they do. They do events. They promote businesses in their neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. They go after channel partners, which are like divorce attorneys and financial planners and CPAs and things like that. People that can refer them more and more clients, not just the actual consumer themselves. But the events, and look, if you're a rookie agent, maybe you're not even a rookie agent, but you're just struggling, spend money on these things instead of spending money on a bunch of crappy Zillow leads. Because I promise you, if you take care of your sphere and your clients and you invest money into an event to hang out and go deeper with them, I promise you it's going to make you way more money, and it's going to be a lot less headache than spending $2,000 or $3,000 on Zillow leads.
Well, I just did an event in December. The whole thing cost me $1,800. So it wasn't free. I hired a Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I hired a professional Clydesdale team with a sleigh. And I went to every single house in my neighborhood. I put up signs, went to all 921 houses, dropped off invitations, sent it out to my sphere. We posted up at the neighborhood elementary school to go on a sleigh ride with Santa. And I had hot chocolate and cookies and all this other stuff there. And I had 87 families that I did not personally know before that event come to that event and give me all of their information, and I followed up with that with a letter and a Christmas themed scratcher card for $1 that just says, I'm so lucky to have neighbors like you, wishing you luck in 2025. If there's anything you ever need from me, let me know. And those kinds of things, Sure, it cost me. I could have done it for cheaper. I probably could have gotten away with maybe $1,000, but you do stuff like that repetitively.
So
and
how many did you add to your database from that?
I added 82. I had a total of 127 families show up.
So these were 82 potential clients.
Those are 82 people I did not know before this event. They
So
didn't
you
know
put
me
them in
from
your
Adam.
database.
Oh yeah.
Now you're marketing to
100%.
them. Now you're following up quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing all this. Do you guys get like what the ROI on that is? $1,800. And you think out of 82 clients that now he's going to be following up with and building rapport with, that you're not going to get 2,
If
3,
I get
4,
one,
5. Yeah, you get one.
I get one.
ROI
These
is
are
insane.
homeowners. They sell, they
Yes,
buy.
yes.
That one person is probably worth 30 grand to me.
Yeah.
And I spent $1,800. And my expectation isn't one. I'm also going to do a summer event for my community
Yeah.
and a fall. I have 3 events planned for my community this year.
So now you've got 5, 6 grand in all 3 events.
Yeah.
But even if the same 82 people
5 minutes.
come to each of your events, now you're seeing them again, you're shaking their hand again, you're building rapport. Now they're starting to go, man, I like this guy. When we sell our house, we're definitely using him.
And
And all it takes is one.
Secret.
That just paid for all those events.
I have a secret. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Do you know what is not fun? Getting a bullshit Zillow lead at 8:00 at night that I have to press pause on the show that I've been waiting all week to watch with my wife.
FICO score,
And I'm tearing out of bed, going down to my office only to get met with crap. That's not fun. What is fun is planning a beautiful event, seeing kids light up like this light above my head, seeing Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like that's enjoyable. And yes, it costs money. Guess what? It's all a write-off. It's all great.
It's going to pay itself off.
It's going to pay itself off. And this summer I'm going to do, I already found it. It's like the biggest outdoor inflatable movie screen in Colorado. It's like 80 feet. It's freaking massive.
That's awesome.
I'm going to put it up in the neighborhood park and play like, I don't know, Moana 2 or something and have like an ice cream truck.
Yeah, I love it.
That whole thing might cost me probably about $1,800. But again, it's about getting the community together. Yeah. And I remember when I was...
Now you're becoming that community leader.
Right.
And it is the expert in real estate. And then, dude, there is no doubt in mind that the ROI on those events, if you fast forward a couple of years...
It's going to be huge.
Huge.
And it's not $20,000 a year on mailers to them. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. People throw them away.
No. All right. And before we end, because I know we're getting close on time.
We're getting close.
What's your one nugget for a realtor that is maybe they're struggling because they haven't closed a lot of business, so they can't do an $1,800 event. They can't do a bunch of expensive stuff. What would be your one nugget that would say it's inexpensive and just start doing this?
I got 2 things. So number
I said
one, I know.
You don't listen.
I don't. You can ask Kylie.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
My 2 things for real estate agents is number one, if you don't have a structured database, you're not even playing the game.
No.
So structure your database, but don't even just do that. So get all of your friends' names, phone numbers, addresses, all that stuff, but then do what this man taught me to do. And that is get a list of questions for them. Your list is amazing. I know you'd share it with anybody who wants it, but you give them a call and you say, dude, you know, I love you. You know, I do real estate. I'm not calling you for that, but I want to do a better job at loving on you and your family.
Yep.
Can you give me give me your kids' birthdays and their favorite candy? Give me your wife's dream vacation spot. Yep. Give me your favorite sports team. Have this information. I swear to God, I think you had me call like 100 people last year, and I did it, and every single one was over the moon about it. But then act on that stuff. Yep. On their kid's birthday.
Come up with the game plan on what to do.
On their
and
kid's
we can help
birthday.
you with that, by the way.
Do you know how cool it would be if on your kid's birthday, a king-size Twix bar showed up on the doorstep with a note that says "Happy Birthday, Jaden," just using a random name?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care what you do. I'm your client for life.
Yeah. From my friend Chad.
And it costs you $2 for a king-size bar.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And the other thing is easily social media and video. Yeah. It's free.
It's free.
Guys, we're filming on our cell phones right now. I know we got really nice mics and lighting and all that stuff, but filming, we're on our cell phones.
Yes. Which are the best, by the way. Yeah, I mean, they really are. And most of the videos I do, I bought a little external mic that plugs into my phone for sound. But other than that, you could do everything from a cell phone, and there's
You
no
don't need a
excuses.
$5,000
There's no
DSLR
excuses.
camera.
You could go on YouTube. There's so many lessons on how to edit and how to post and how to do all that. I mean, you literally have no excuses. Build your brand. That's what I would say.
GT, you'd say build your brand.
Build your brand.
You finish.
What's that?
Christine, edit this out. Mine might be out of time, so
Okay.
I want you to roll.
Yeah. So my one and only thing is, I mean, for the biggest bang, for the very minimal buck is just build your brand. Take your cell phone, you own it all the time. Do videos, do fun videos, do silly videos. I mean, those are the ones that typically get the most looks and likes and all that stuff anyway. But do good content. And you could use AI and whatnot to come up with scripts. But if you ever need help with any of that stuff, Chad and I are here to help you. Again, we want this channel to be very interactive. The reason we're doing this is to see people grow and to help people grow. So if you're watching this and you see this part, shoot us a message, whatever. Hey, I need help with this. We're glad to step in or at least point you in the right direction. But yeah, man, we're going to wrap this up. As always, please like, share. If you got anything from this, please share it with somebody. Subscribe. And we don't get a lot of comments. So definitely make sure you hit us with a comment and let us know what you think. And we'll see you next time.